time of it, staying active and staying busy.
Yeah.
So it makes me sad that he hasn't had that experience up until now, because again, it requires expert care. He should be in a group living environment with other lemurs. All these things he's missed out on are what, if he ends up like being rehomed as a confiscation, we are going to do our best to find for him.
Brad indicates the lemur appears to be a younger male. He might be a little thin, although they are not for sure. Get the latest in local news anytime at DeWittDailyNews.com.
This is staff meteorologist Jennifer Wojcicki with your regional radio forecast. Cloudy skies today with daytime highs approaching 36. Winds out of the northwest 10 to 20 miles per hour. Lows level off around 26. Tonight, partly cloudy skies. Tomorrow, highs level off around 38. A dusting of snow tomorrow night through Sunday. Hear weather twice an hour or online anytime at DeWittDailyNews.com. Currently, it's 33.
As a nonprofit store, Love It Once More Thrift Store in Clinton relies on your donations. So this month, if you bring us a donation, we'll give you a card worth 10% off your total purchase. This is Connie reminding you to check us out on Facebook or DeWittDailyNews.com.
This is Ryan Utterback with Utterback Real Estate. I'm ready for a jump start.
Man, I forgot my jumper cables.
No, I'm ready to help clients jump on a new home.
But what if they fall off?
And that's why you're the other Ryan.
Get a jump on the new year by clicking the Utterback Real Estate icon at DeWittDailyNews.com.
Hey everybody, Buddy Wilson here, your new country financial agent in Clinton. We're all familiar with the three whats. What is it? What can you do for me? And what does it cost? At Country Financial, we can help you find the answers with insurance coverage to help you protect what matters the most, all at prices you can afford. While you're juggling work, kids, and keeping an eye on the future, we'll make sure we're one of the first ones there when you need us the most. Call me, Buddy Wilson, your newest country financial representative in Clinton at 217-935-5620. Let's chat about your insurance needs today.
This is Noah Atkinson, owner of Lincoln Printers and Sign Designs in Lincoln. Our communities thrive thanks to small businesses. That's why I'm pleased to be the exclusive sponsor of the WHOW WEZC Lincoln Printers Business of the Month.
The DeWitt County Development Council works with prospective and current businesses all over DeWitt County to encourage, foster, promote, aid, and stimulate economic development in DeWitt County through the retention, expansion, and attraction of industrial and commercial business. They'll receive a $200 gift certificate good at Lincoln Printers and Sign Designs for being our WHOW WEZC Lincoln Printers Business of the Month. Nominate a business you'd like featured by emailing us at WHOW@randyradio.com.
Lincoln Printers and Sign Designs salute this local business for helping make the community grow. And when it comes to envelopes, wedding invitations, signs, banners, vinyl wraps, and more, find us online at LincolnPrintersInc.com.
Your friend in Central Illinois. WHOW.
Top of the morning. Thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Seth Lawrence. The WHW Morning Show streams to Facebook and YouTube. It's brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. My guest on the phone today, Mr. Dan Matthews, is the DeWitt County Board Chair. Mr. Matthews, how are you, sir?
Doing well. Good morning, Seth.
Yeah, thanks for coming on and talking with us. We appreciate you making time for us here this morning as we follow up the Thursday night DeWitt County Board meeting. And Mr. Matthews, let's dive into some of the things on the agenda from last night. And let's start with public safety and some things out of the animal control facility, eliminating intergovernmental agreements for animal control services in rural parts of the county. What's going on here?
Well, Seth, I can tell you that that motion that was on the board was not brought forward.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Just to start, we currently, everyone may not know, we do not currently have an animal control officer. Our past officer resigned a couple of weeks ago, and so we are actively searching for a new animal control administrator for the animal shelter. So this motion that came out really was about as much us as it is the cities in Farmer City, Clinton, Wapella, is that we can't hold up our obligations for the agreement right now. So really probably should have said something like suspending the agreement or suspending the obligations until we can get a new officer and, staff back up the way that we should have. And out of that came a good discussion with Chief Lowers yesterday. I kind of jokingly said I had to talk to the sheriff and the chief both in the same day, and don't really want to do that very often. But it was good conversations where they said they will be flexible and they'll help us through. So really, that was the crux of what we were trying to do was how are we going to get through this period. And out of that really came good discussions and both and say, hey, we're going to help you guys out, right? We know you can't send anybody out right now for an incident that may require, the animal control officer. So we really just need to get that position filled as quickly as we can so that we can move forward. And, some of these agreements are coming up for renewal and we just need to make them better. There was no intention whatsoever for the board to cancel these agreements. It was just how can we meet the obligations of them?
Yeah. Well, without an administrator out in that building, how do the operations of the building take place at this point? Like, what's the plan out there for right now?
Yeah, so we do still have Maddie, who's the assistant, has been out there kind of doing the day-to-day type of stuff for people, the public coming in. We've had two board members, Megan Myers and Christina Deerwester, that have jumped in and are helping with the daily cleaning and taking care of the animals and a lot of those things. So they've done a great job to kind of fill the vacancy of just keeping it running. But again, not we don't have anybody qualified right now to do the true animal control patrolling or going out on incidents. But they've done a great job in the interim while we get through this period.
Mm-hmm. And when you talk about the intergovernmental agreements, Dan, you mentioned making them better. I don't know if you want to dive too deep into the weeds on what that looks like, but how could those agreements be made better at this point?
Well, it was last done in 2016, so it's been 6 years. Back at that time, Chris Rogers and really Chief Lowers spent a lot of time putting together a good agreement. But as we see almost daily, state regulations change. And so we've seen some of those things as we've worked through what goes on at the animal control. So Megan's uncovered some things that we can do better that may go in the agreement. And I think just in enforcement, there's some things in there that we can do better to enforce some of the things in the agreement. So maybe not change it, but maybe really follow everything in there and be consistent with what we do.
Gotcha. Very good. So as it relates to the search for the animal control officer, is that I don't know how to ask this without sounding insulting. Is that an easy position to fill? I mean, is that something that a lot of people want to do? And how do you go about that search, I guess?
I do not think it is easy, Seth. There's a lot that goes into that position. You first start out with somebody who's an animal lover, wants to be involved with animals every day, right? But there's also the animal control portion of it. It's not all easy, going out to an incident or a dog that's not cooperative or an animal that's not cooperative. So there is certain types of certifications that are required to have that, to be an animal control officer. And so we may not find somebody that already has those certifications, but we want them in the first 6 months to get those certifications so they can meet the standards of what the animal control officer, requirements are by the state. So it is going to be a tough search, but we do have a couple candidates already that we feel are going to be could be really good for us.
Mm-hmm.
So we're looking forward to. I think the job posting either goes out today or Monday, and we've already been talking to those people. And one of the things I didn't mention earlier, I'm just thinking of, you said, how are we getting by right now? Second Chance is also helping us, and they're doing a great job. They're experts in handling dogs and adoptions and situations that they have. So between Heather Wantlin and Christina Deerwester helping us out and others, that's also a great benefit to get us through this period.
Yeah. And so I want to ask this, Dan, because the relationship between the county and Second Chance, several years ago, went through kind of a rocky phase there. How would you describe the current relationship with Second Chance? Because they do a lot of great work in the county with animals that are strays, needing homes, all those things. You mentioned Heather Wantland. I mean, my goodness, she does so much work in finding animals homes to really good people. So how about the relationship you have with that nonprofit at this point?
Yeah, I would say that you're right. There was a period where it wasn't a great relationship, and we are going to make sure that that changes. They are a great asset for the county. They handle the majority of the adoptions go through them. They find people for the dogs that we have. So they're experts in doing that, and it just it's kind of expands our staff. So we intend on having them involved. Up to a certain point. They're not county employees, but they will be involved moving forward. And as you said, they do a great job. Why not have a good relationship with them?
Sure. And just real quick, Dan, I saw on the agenda from last night as well, waiving adoption fees for the month of February. Just talk about that with us real fast.
Mr. Carter brought that up, and it's just I don't know if it's national or statewide. It may be a national type of thing where February, I think Mr. Carter said the month of love, and so he brought that forward, and we all agreed, yeah, let's waive those fees for the month of February, so that maybe we can get a couple animals adopted that we have currently.
Very good. So look forward to that. Anything else, Dan, on the shelter and searching for an administrator and governmental agreements and all those things? Anything we missed in that conversation you want to put out there for us?
No, I think we covered them pretty well.
Sure. Very good. Again, Dan Matthews is the DeWitt County Board Chair, our guest on the phone here for this morning. Dan, this is something I've been watching for a number of years, looking forward to it. Folks that make their way out to Weldon Springs, they probably take Revere Road at some point to get to there. And it is a bit of a rough stretch for the county in the rural areas. So how about Revere Road and agreements for funding there? Sounds like things are starting to move along. How about that?
They are, and I wish Mark Mathon was sitting here with me to answer these questions in detail. But there was two motions last night. One was a joint funding agreement and resolution for the Revere Road project, and what that really was just to enter an agreement with it's for federal funds and local funds to get that project rolling. So basically, we just agreed that we're going to do what it requires to get the federal funds and get that project moving along.
Mm-hmm. Very good. I'll maybe reach out to Mr. Mathon and get an overview from him on that. But how about MFT funds? It's hard to believe we're going to be starting up the summer maintenance schedule, but how about MFT funds for this year? How are things looking there?
Looking good. We again, this is something we do every year, and it's to approve the motor fuel tax dollars to be moved for local highway repairs, things like culverts, roads, bridges, anything that goes along. There's a long list of items that you can use these funds for. So again, Mark and Jamie Prestigard is our chair of that committee too. So Jamie's jumped right in and get involved with these things. So again, just something we do each year to move those funds and start planning what our maintenance is going to be for DeWitt County.
Sure. Anything else on that, Dan, you'd like to offer up?
No, again, I would defer to the experts if you have any other questions on those two topics. But, it's just, I think it's good that both are done and things can get moving forward now.
Yeah, we'll look forward to it. Let's talk with you, sir, about the marina. I know this is a topic that you've been involved with for many years now. And so how about the marina, Dan? Give us an update on some slip renter agreements and things of that nature that are changing at the marina.
Sure. So this one, actually, we didn't bring this one forward either.
Okay.
It really didn't accomplish exactly what we were trying to do. We were just trying to tie up a couple loose ends with the slip renter agreements. Did we start sending those out here at the end of the month? I mean, it's hard to believe, but we get those going here right at the end of January so people can renew and, everybody hoped for nice weather come, April 1st and start seeing boats showing back up. And those that keep their boats out there all year, will just everybody hoping for nice weather. But really the discussion about the marina, Seth, is we're we're in year 5 with the agreement with our current managing partners out there, and we really want to decide what the county wants out of the marina property. And I guess what I mean in that is, what do we want 10 years from now out of the marina? And really, I think the agreement we have now is adequate, but it really handcuffs both the county and the current managers out there. They can't act as quickly as they would like to. When you're a business, you need to make quick decisions. You need to decide, am I going to spend money on this or that? And, you have to wait a month to get approval for some of the simpler things. It's just not a good business relationship. And we think that marina could grow, but we don't want to be in that business. So I floated the idea to the entire board. I want the entire board to make this decision, is to really, for the county to get out of the marina business and again, not sell the property and the land. We would always keep the land out there for future, projects, use, things like that for the, different types of marina opportunities that may come up. But we would really like to turn over everything about the day-to-day and maintenance and how that marina is run to a manager. That they make all the decisions, that we don't get the calls. And then they can plan long-term with a much longer agreement, a 10-year or 20-year lease agreement that they can really plan for, invest in, those type of things.
Now, with that type of an agreement, what was, one, the reception like from your fellow board members, but two, would it require rebidding, that agreement and those sorts of things? How about those couple of details?
I think it was a positive reception from the rest of the board. Obviously, our committee, we already talked about this a couple of weeks ago, and I've had a couple of new board members asking me about it. They like the idea, but it would certainly require a new bid. We would put this out for bid. Hopefully in the next 3 months, have it all together and tied up pretty tightly, so that again, that's always be the county's land. We want to have restrictions that help us to that we want that marina to continue and be strong and be accessible to slip renters and all the boaters we get from across the state. It's a great location, and it's the only marina on the lake, obviously. So we want to protect that part of it, but we want to get out of the day-to-day problems or issues or decisions involving a marina business.
Yeah. And that just seems like a lot of like a theme that I've really heard of, surrounding the marina for many years is that, this sentiment that the county needs to get out of this business and let somebody else run it. So it sounds like you're kind of taking the bull by the horns on that one.
Yeah. I mean, you've been through meetings, and I've fought for the agreement we have now to work. But long-term, it's not the best for the county or for a marina manager. So I do want to push that forward, and hopefully we do get a partner that, what I envision will happen, and make that marina better, stronger, newer facilities, things like that, which I think can happen. So I'm excited about pushing forward with this bid. But on the secondary bidding, I guess I'll say we probably also have to figure out agreements similar to the one we have in case we don't get a buyer, or we don't get a bidder that, gives us the value of those properties and things like that. But there's a lot to go into it to figure out how that lease would look. But I think that's the way long-term for the county to go.
Now, when could you eliminate the current lease and start this process, or do you have to let the current lease expire and then take this up? I apologize if that's a really dumb question.
No, that's a great question. So just the current lease was renewed in October of 2022. So the agreement is that the current managers will manage the marina from January 1st of 2022 to December 31st. January 1st of 2023 to the end of the year. If we are not going to move forward with another year with our current partner, we have to let them know by October 1st. So we have every intention of, fulfilling our agreement with them, and they do with us for this year, because this process is going to take us, I hope for 6 months. It could go longer, right? It could go into the fall. But we kind of have a target of, let's figure this out by May, June, so that our partner out there now is aware of what's going on, and we have a plan that the next manager or leasee, whoever is going to be out there, can get a head start too for the following year, so they can jump right in when their agreement starts January 1 of 24.
So this is something pretty imminent then.
We've got to do it one way or the other. We don't want to, if we were to continue with a relationship like we have now, we would still need to get that bid out this summer as well.
Gotcha. Very good. Dan, I feel like my understanding of the marina is not as great as yours, so I will defer to you. Did I miss anything in that conversation you feel is important we need to talk about?
No, Seth, I think we've hit it. Again, the ball, it's up for grabs right now of what we're going to do, but I think we have two really good options to move forward with. And it's just going to take a lot of work from our committee, but also, we want to have the whole board on the same program of what we want to do long-term for the marina.
Gotcha. Well, Dan, let's take a time out here, my friend. We'll come back with some more. Dan Matthews is the DeWitt County Board Chair, our guest on the phone for this morning. We follow up the Thursday night DeWitt County Board meeting. More with Mr. Matthews next on WHOW.
WHOW.
Let's check the opening numbers at the Chicago Board of Trade on this Friday. Jim Taylor on the RFD Radio Network. Corn starting the day steady, beans slightly higher, and wheat beginning the day steady. March corn 676 3/4, down half a penny. May corn down 1/4, 674 1/2. July corn 663 3/4, up half a penny. March beans 1519 1/2, up 4 3/4. May beans up 2 1/2, 1514. July beans 1505 1/2, up 1 3/4. March Chicago wheat starting the day 733 1/4, down 1 1/4. May wheat down half a penny, 742 1/4. July wheat up 1/4, 745 3/4. March bean meal 473 even, that's up 180. March bean oil 63.42, up 27 cents. Opening numbers for this Friday. Jim Taylor, RFD Radio Network.
At Baum Chevrolet Buick in Clinton and Baum Motor Company in Farmer City, our job is to help you and solve your transportation needs. This is Scott Baum. Both in Clinton or Farmer City, we'll listen and find options for a different vehicle, or we'll give you repair options to keep that car, truck, or SUV safe and trouble-free so you can continue with your busy schedule. If it has to do with transportation, we're here to help. Visit our full-service team today in Clinton or Farmer City. Baum Chevrolet Buick, right from the start.
Here's owner Dave Jackson from your Clinton Save a Lot on how inflation is affecting us.
Inflation rate, and I can't give you the exact number, but it's been like 1%, 1.5%, maybe 2%. It's been a rate that the economy can handle well. Wages go up faster than inflation, or at least as fast. People don't notice it. Now it's multiple times a year. It is not 8%. I don't know where exactly the government comes up with this inflation rate.
Despite that, Dave still provides you selection and savings at your Clinton Save a Lot.
Hope to see you soon.
Your friend in Central Illinois, WHOW.
Once again, good morning. Thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Seth Lawrence. The WHOW Morning Show streams to Facebook and YouTube, brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. My guest on the phone, Dan Matthews, DeWitt County Board Chair, our guest as we follow up the Thursday night DeWitt County Board meeting. And Dan, I'm sure you saw this and followed it probably closely. Springfield lame duck session a couple of weeks ago, passing basically bills that would override any local ordinances that have been put into place. And of course, that would impact DeWitt County. You mentioned to me at one of our first interviews, you were hoping to clean up, wind and solar and all those ordinances. And the state's going to come in and do it for you. How do you feel about that?
Not well at all, Seth. I think it's a really bad deal for all counties that the government is going to try to tell us what our counties should look like, and that they know the rules and ordinances, that it's not a blanket blank slate for them to say, in every county setback should be 1,250 feet, blade height should be this. All of the types of things that they're trying to push down onto the counties is just a sad deal, really.
So what does this look like? You know, I mean, I don't even know how to ask this. Does the, you know, state set the guidelines, and then anybody can come in and just apply for a permit, and you have to give it to them if they fall within the, you know, the boundaries that they have set? Like, how does this work going forward?
Well, it appears, Seth, that they're going to dictate a series of the ordinances that we already have in place, that our RPC and ZBA and county boards have worked to improve, to do the best to protect the residents of the county. And now they've decided that they know the numbers, they know whatever they've mostly agreed with these wind companies that say, here's what's efficient for us. This is what makes it more affordable for us to build. And they want to push that on the counties.
Mm-hmm.
Now, they also at the same time said, we do have final permitting and project approval. The tough part there is if they set the ordinances, which are much easier for these companies to meet, and then we say no when they've met all the ordinances, that's the reason for ordinances, is so that they do meet the requirements that we feel are adequate and safe. And these state rules that they're trying to pass down, we don't feel that they're safe or adequate for protection of our county.
Really put you in a tough spot. I wish we could go further with the conversation, Dan, but I have to let you go. It's always good to have you on the program. And again, thank you for making time for us.
All right, Seth. Have a good day.
You do the same. Dan Matthews is the DeWitt County Board Chair, our guest on the phone. We follow up the Thursday night DeWitt County Board meeting on the WHOW Morning Show.
WHOW.
The Big 1520 WHOW Clinton, 92.3 FM, W222.